Welcome to the Rose Garden Scarf tutorial. This is a assigned pulling for crochet tutorial, and this is what I call my Rose Garden scarf because I think these look like rosebuds. Now, if you want to know about assigned pooling and what it is all about, I would like to refer you to the introduction video J. Hook Reggie made about assigned pooling for crochet. She will tell you all about the technique and all about the different yarns you can use for it. But basically what it is that you use a variegated or a color changing yarn and you assign a certain stitch to a certain color. And that's what I did with this yarn that I dyed myself. I assigned a popcorn stitch to the green teal part. And that's what created this fun and whimsical design of the scarf. I will tell you a little bit more about what you have to look for in a yarn to make this particular project in the beginning of the tutorial. This is a beginner-friendly tutorial. I am actually showing the basic stitches. Now, if this is not interesting to you, you can fast forward that, of course. I have made chapters which you will find in the description box. You can just click on whichever chapter you want to go to, and so you don't have to listen to me explain all the basics. If this tutorial inspires you to make your own rose garden shawl, feel free to share it with me. I would love to see your work. You can tag me on Instagram or you can email me the picture. You can find all my information in the description box below. And now, without further ado, let's start. You will need a yarn that is suited for assigned pooling. Reggie explains all about that in her video. I linked it in the description box, and you can also find it in the cards above. I dyed my own yarn, but you can use any variegated yarn or color changing yarn. But to make popcorns, you have to make sure that the color that you want to make your popcorn in is long enough. I suggest you using a yarn where the popcorn color part is 40 to 50 centimeters long. Now, if you're using a fingering weight, it can be a bit shorter because you're using a thinner hook. I'm using a 5 millimeter, so I need 40 to 50 centimeters. Now, as we are going, I will explain to you why it's not important that it's exactly that length. It can be longer, it can be shorter, but you have to make sure that it's sufficient to make a popcorn. I mean, 10 centimeters won't cut it. I'm gonna make this tutorial very beginner friendly, so this means I'm gonna explain the basics. If you want, you can skip that by fast forwarding. Okay, we're gonna start by making a slip knot, and that is really easy. Just remember to leave a bit of a tail so that you can weave in your end. How I make my slip knots is very easy. Just take your working thread, make a loop like this, and pull your working thread through. There we go. Put your hook in and pull it tight, but not too tight. It still has to be able to move. Now, I am working with a DK or a number 3 yarn, and I'm going to use 20 stitches width. If you're using a thinner yarn, you might want to add 5, for instance. This is up to you, but for this tutorial, I will be using 20 stitches, and it's going to be a narrow scarf, but that's how I designed it. So make 20 chains, and to make a chain, you yarn over, pull through. Very easy. And how I like to make my chains is I hold this and then I pick up my yarn and pull it through. Pick it up, pull it through. Pick it up, pull it through. And this way you make 20 chains. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now that we have our 20 chains, we're gonna make one more. So basically you make 21. And then we make a double crochet. And a double crochet is one of the basic stitches that I like using most. And that goes as follows. You yarn over, you go through the V, like in the middle of the V, and you make sure that you have 2 threads on your, from the V on your hook. Then you yarn over again and you pull through. You now have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over again and pull through 2. Now you have 2 loops left. Yarn over again, pull through 2. You're gonna go and make a double crochet in each of the chains. I'm gonna do it with you. So we yarn over, go into the V. See, 2 loops of the V on your hook. Pull through, yarn over again and pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. Next one. Next one will be here. Yarn over, go in the V, make sure you have the 2 threads on your hook. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over. Made a little mistake here. This yarn splits. Okay, gonna start over. Yarn over, go into the V, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. Yarn over in the V, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. You're gonna go all the way down your chain like this. Now for the first row, we are not taking the colors into account. But starting row 2, we are gonna start making popcorns whenever the main color appears. So. If this still goes too fast, there is an option to slow down the video, and that's not just for my videos, that's for any tutorial, and I can recommend you use that feature when a tutorial goes too fast. You can speed it up or you can slow it down. So, yarn over, go in the V. Now when I started crocheting, my biggest problem was I never knew where I had to put my hook. So that is why I really showed you it's in the V, and you have to make sure that you have the 2 threads on your hook. It's not a biggie if you only do 1, but it will create little gaps on the bottom of your chain. Okay, we are almost at the end, and something I can not stress enough is that it's a good thing to every now and then count if you still have your 20 stitches, because with the popcorns it's easy to lose or to skip a stitch here and there. And if you do, that's okay, we just rectify it later on. I'm gonna show you how you can fudge it a little bit, how you can cheat. It's a scarf, it's really not that important if a row has 1 more or less stitches. Okay, now we're down to the last one. And there you go. And now it's time to turn our work. And to turn our work, we chain 1, flip it, and we're ready to start the next row. Now, starting from here, we are going to start making the popcorns. And this is where the assigned pooling comes in. We are going to make the popcorns with the dark green teal part here. So this means that I'm gonna continue doing double crochets until I get to a green part. The green parts will become popcorns, but all the other parts will remain double crochets. So here, this is not a chain, and this is actually much easier to recognize and to know where you have to, where your stitch is that you have to go in. So let me show again. Yarn over, and see here, when you look at the top you have the V, and when you look at the side you have like a hole, and this is where you're gonna put your hook in. Just yarn over, go into that stitch, and if you turn your work, you see again you have the 2 loops on your needle, and that's important. You can only take 1, but that's a whole different stitch. That's called a front loop or a back loop only, but that's not for this tutorial. Okay, so I'm gonna take this out and show you again. So yarn over, go into the stitch, pull the yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Next is here, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And this is how we continue until our yarn starts turning green. And this is what's so fun about this technique, is not boring. See, light green. We're gonna make 1 more double crochet. Do we already have the dark green? Nope. Let's make another one. Now we have the dark green, the emerald or the teal. So we're gonna make a popcorn. And a popcorn, it is a little bit more work, but it's really double crochets. It's not harder than the double crochets. But instead of making them 1 in each stitch, we're gonna make them all in the same stitch. Now, let's do this. Yarn over and make your first double crochet. Then we're gonna make our next double crochet. So you see, we have 2 double crochets in 1 stitch. Another one. That's 3. Let me get some more yarn. We still have teal, so we continue. You're basically gonna make as many double crochets in that stitch as you have your color that you assigned to the popcorn. We're gonna make one more here. And I think at the end of this stitch, yes, see, the color is changing. So that's when we stop making the double crochets and we start making the popcorn. Now this is a popcorn of 5 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But you can also have any other amount of double crochets. It will depend on your yarn. And that's why I said the length of your collar is not that important, but it should be long enough. So what we're going to do now is take out the hook and put it into our first stitch, our first double crochet of this popcorn cluster. Put it through like this. Like when you are doing a double crochet into a stitch, exactly the same. Then you go back into your loop and pull it through like this. And you see, it's bunching up and it's forming a little popcorn. Then you yarn over, pick up your thread and pull it through and pull it a little tight. You made your first popcorn. Yay! Yay, you! Okay, so now we just continue with our double crochets. And the first double crochet we're gonna make next is in this next stitch. It's right here. So again, like this. And we repeat what we were doing before, and that is making double crochets as long as the color is not the popcorn color. So we're gonna go down the road again until we reach a green spot. With this technique, the popcorns will appear at random. And that is what it makes it so fun and whimsical. Uh-oh, see? Our yarn is turning light green. We can make one more. How about now? Yeah, let's make one more. Now we're definitely in our popcorn color. So we're gonna make a popcorn in this stitch. Remember, just make double crochets in the same stitch. I wonder how many we're gonna make this time. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and the color is changing, yes, and 5. 5 again. Now, again, take out your hook and search for your first popcorn double crochet. Go into the stitch, pick up your loop, tighten it so that it's not too loose, and pull through. Pick up your yarn and pull through. That is a slip stitch, by the way. What we do, just picking up and pulling through, is a slip stitch. And we have our second popcorn. And me personally, I think they look like rosebuds. I don't know what you guys think. Okay, we have one more stitch to go, and that is this gap here between the chain one and your first double crochet. This is where we're gonna go into and make a double crochet. And let's count now to see if we are still on track with our 20 stitches. Now this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Your popcorn stitch is 1 stitch, so that's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Like I said before, I cannot stress this enough. Check every now and then, because seriously, before you know it, you're down to 16 stitches. Okay, so that's our first popcorn row done. We're gonna turn. To turn, chain 1, turn your work, and this is your first stitch where we're gonna make our first double crochet. Yarn over, go into, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. Okay, now we are at that wonky, strange looking popcorn stitch. Now it's not that easy to see where you have to go into, because this is easy, it's clear, but where do you go to into your popcorn stitch? Well, look, when you turn your work, you will see for the double crochets, you have your double crochet, and then you have the hole. You have where you put your hook in. Well, it's the same for the popcorn stitch. You just have to look better. If you pull this open a little bit, you can see that here is the gap. This is your stitch you have to go into. So you have your popcorn, and on the left of your popcorn, that's where your stitch is. And again, we make a double crochet. We are in the yellow and oranges, so let's continue doing double crochets. Here it's very easy. You can tell where you have to be. I have a feeling we're gonna be seeing some light green soon. Yes, there it is. Let's make one more. Are we in the dark yet? Yes, let's see. Let's start the... No, we're gonna make one more. Let's make one more. Yes, now we're fully in the dark. Green. I was going for a teal, but it turned out more an emerald with a little bit of teal. This is only the second time I dyed yarn myself. Okay, so we're going to a color change. Let's see if we can make one more. Sure. I'm gonna undo that last one. It's too much light green. Let's see. How many stitches do we have? 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. See? That's fine. It doesn't have to be 5. 4 is fine. I'm gonna take out my hook, search for the first double crochet, which is this one, go into the stitch here, pick up, but now there is a difference. See, if I were to do it like this, my popcorn would be on the wrong side of my work. So when we are on the back of the work, instead of going front to back, we are going to put our hook in back to front. Now, if it's easier for you, you can also flip your work and do it like this and then flip it again. But just go back to front, pick up your loop and pull it through, and you will see that your popcorn will be formed on the back side of your work. Then again, slip stitch, simple yarn over, pull through, tighten it a little bit, and continue on. Easy peasy. Let's go down the road. Now we encounter this popcorn again. Remember, it's on the left side of your popcorn that you have your stitch. And then we're going down the road. The fun part about this is it has short rows, so you will see your scarf grow really fast. Oops, I accidentally picked up my tail here. We're changing colors. And we're at the last stitch. Again, your stitch is right here. You can go into the stitch or you can go into the hole under the stitch. It doesn't matter all that much. Okay, now it looks like we're gonna make a popcorn on the edge. Okay, one chain, flip the work, and yes, we are gonna have to make our popcorn on the side. No problem, that works as well. So let's make our popcorn in the very first stitch. Now, if you really don't want to do it, just make one more double crochet and make your popcorn in the second stitch. But this is what's so fun about this pattern, is you don't know where the popcorns will land. Let's see. Okay, it's getting lighter. Again, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Take it out. Now we're back to the front of the work, so we're going front to back. If you're at the back of the work, you're going back to front. Where is the first double crochet now? Well, that's the one, so you're going right in before. Pick up your loop, pull through, and slip stitch. And on we go. And this is how you continue going all the way across your work. And just make sure that you don't split your yarn like I just did. I just love getting surprised by the color changes. Ooh, it's changing. It's changing. I'm gonna make one more here in the popcorn stitch. See, on the left, this is where your stitch is. One more. Yep, popcorn time. We're gonna make the popcorn in here. One more? Nope. Picking up this one here, the stitch right here, pull through, tighten this up a little bit, and slip stitch, and we go on. Every single work you make with this technique will look differently because every yarn is different, especially if you use hand-dyed yarn. They are always slightly different. But also the look will change depending on how many stitches you start with, for instance, or the yarn weight, of course, the hook size, of course, it will all change. Your tension, someone with a tighter tension or a looser tension than I is going to have a different result with exactly the same yarn. This is so much fun. Okay, last stitch is right here. How about I count if I'm still on track? So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now, let's say that I only have 19 stitches that I missed somewhere. This is how you remedy it. Let's say that I only have 19 stitches and I need to have 20. Just at the end of the row, add one more. Make 2 double crochets in the last one. You won't see it. Okay, I'm gonna undo this one. And turn. Turn is chain 1, turn your work, and make a double crochet in your first stitch. We are heading to the dark green, so popcorn. It's getting lighter again. Yeah, I seem to have a consistent 5 stitches. That's good. But if it happens to be 6 or 7, that's fine. If it happens to be 4, that's fine. I'm at the back of my work, so I'm going back to front to pick up the loop and make my popcorn stitch. I am having so much fun with these colors that I am already thinking, what other colors could I do? Because this totally reminds me of rosebuds. I want to make it with rose flower colors, like dark red and pink. That should be so beautiful. Oh boy. Remember bubble stitch? Yeah. I'm gonna have to live forever to do all the projects I want to do. I know that I am not the only one with that problem. Light green. One more, yes, one more. Okay, popcorn time. And we're at lighter green again. here is our, nope, still 5. This is where I have to go into. Now if, I'm at the wrong side. Now if you should miss, and let's for instance say if you should miss and go into the wrong hole and you don't see it in time, well, that's fine. I mean, it's really not a biggie, but remember that you don't crochet in the stitch that you missed when you go back. So this was the one, oops, again, this was the one we had to go into. Now you can also choose to make it double-sided. That's fine. That's completely up to you. This, you can do whatever you feel like doing with this technique. Now let's say that you have a yarn with like a lot of different color changes. You can also assign the popcorn stitch to 2 different colors. That's also an option. Okay, now we're at this is the second to last stitch. Now we're at this point where the popcorn was our first stitch, and it looks a bit wonky. Just fold this back and you will see that it just looks exactly the same. Your stitch is right here. Don't be afraid to pull and fold and turn your work as you go. So this was the stitch. If it can help to hold it open like this, just do it. Like this. And we have finished our row, and now you will see that your popcorn is not on the side anymore. It was like this, but because we made the stitch, it pulled it back to the front of the work. Okay, just continue going up and down the row and enjoy watching your scarf grow. I will be back in a second just to show you how you can attach a new yarn. To attach a new thread or a new ball of yarn, I'm gonna show you the magic knot technique. Just make sure that the ends that you're attaching are in the same color range. If, for instance, this ball of yarn would start with the green, I would go all the way until I get back to a yellow, or vice versa. Okay, what you do is you hold the ends in opposite direction. Then you're gonna make a knot over one thread. So you make a loop, and from the back to the front you pull one end through, slightly tighten this. You do the same with the other end. You go around and pull the end from the middle to the outside, and you tighten this. Then you pull the 2 knots together and tighten the knots. When they're secure and tight, you just snip the ends. And you continue crocheting. And then you just go over that knot like it wouldn't be there. it's gonna be a little thicker than the yarn, but you will see, you won't even notice it. There you go, here it is. Just pull it through, just continue. And by next row you will just crochet over it and you won't see it anymore. Well then, when your scarf is the length you want it to be, or you have reached the end of your yarn, it's time to finish up. We are gonna finish it up the way we started, and that is with 1 row of double crochets, and then finally we're gonna end also with a row of slip stitches to make it nice and tight. If you need to rip back a row, but make sure that you have enough yarn left to do one row of doubles and 1 row of slip stitches. It really does not matter if you end on the wrong side or on the right side. So what we do is just what we did before, and that is 1 row of double crochets, but this time we are going to ignore the popcorn colors, in this case the emerald green / teal. We're just gonna ignore the fact that that is the color that we make the popcorns in normally. We're just gonna make double crochets with them. Like we did in the first row, we did not take that color into consideration. Okay. Make sure that you don't miss any stitches. And then again, 1 chain, turn, and for the slip stitches, like we did in the popcorns, is you go into the stitch without a yarn over, you go into the stitch and pull through your stitch and your loop. It's just plain and simple pulling the yarn through. You don't have to do the slip stitch row, but I find that it keeps your last row neater together. Otherwise it will flare out more, and you have these open stitches here, and I think that the slip stitch row is a nice finish. But feel free to design your own shawl or scarf. So we're at the end of this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked this technique, and I hope this has awakened the will to go through your stash and look at your yarns and see if you have any that could be used to use the assigned pooling technique. You can also make this shawl with half double crochets if you don't like the openness of it, but I like the contrast of the holey structure with the pom-poms. If you make it with half double crochets, it's going to be closer. Okay, so I did my last slip stitch. Just yarn over once and pull your end through. Cut your yarn. Where did I put my scissors? But leave a tail that's long enough for you to weave in your ends. There you go. Just pull this out, pull this tight, and there you go. If this is your first crochet project, congratulations. like I said, I hope you enjoyed this technique. There are other tutorials to come, and this project also inspired me to dye up some more yarns to make this beautiful, fun, whimsical, and completely random project. Of course, now this is a scarf. You can make a blanket with it as well. You can make whatever you want. I hope to see you soon. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I will answer them, or you can email me at cats.eyecatchers@gmail.com. You can find the information in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked my video, give it a thumbs up. And if you feel that you have friends that would like to try this, don't be shy and share the video. Thank you very much. Bye.